Hello and welcome to English for Journalists and Writers class. Today we are going to discuss about a different aspect of compilation of a story, or is what we call how to come up with an effective headline. As we know very well that the attractiveness of a story is always determined by the headline you are using. Alright, the readership of a story is always determined by the headline you are using. If you are using a headline that is not catchy or is attractive to your targeted audiences, you're going to find that most of your audience won't be interested in reading your story. That's why you must always try your level best as an editor or as a writer to come up with the most effective headline that is catchy and attractive to your targeted audiences. Because you're going to find that the readership of a newspaper or else, let's say concerning television channels or radio is always determined by the highlight that you are portraying to your targeted audiences. But still, you are going to begin from the tips of compiling, or else though you are going to come up with an effective headline that is able to communicate your messages to your targeted audiences. What are the tips you're supposed to put in mind, or else to be able to consider when you're coming up with a headline for your story? Number one is what we call creativity. Because you are coming up with a headline, and the headline is the first impression you are going to disseminate to your targeted audiences, you must use appropriate creativity skills. Whereas we are saying that you must employ a lot of creativity. You are having a story, maybe let's say of 10 paragraphs, you are having a story, let's say of 10 minutes, but now the attractiveness of the story is always determined by the headline you are using. So you need to employ appropriate creativity skills, and whereby out of the headline, someone can be able to summarize the whole content of the story. Because the effective headline should be able to summarize the main news story, right? The main item in the news story. Then number two, we are saying that if you are coming up with a headline, the second tip, you need to understand the story you are talking about. And you are saying that an effective headline should be able to summarize the main content or the main news and the main news stories. But if you are coming up with the headline that cannot be able to summarize the main aspect of the story, you're going to find that you are most likely tend to confuse your targeted audiences, and many people won't be interested in reading your story. Still, we are saying that a headline must always be catchy. It must be attractive. It must be appealing. It must be able to convince your targeted audiences to read the whole story. Because a headline will determine if someone is going to read the intro of a story or the lead of a story. But if a headline cannot be interconnected with the lead of the story, it means that it is not catchy. And out of that, very few people are going to read your story or else to be able to read the whole of your content. Still, we are saying that an effective headline should not repeat itself, or else you don't repeat the lead. If you are coming up with a headline that is going to summarize the content of your story, or is going to summarize the main aspect of your story, we are saying that do not repeat the same words twice, or else do not summarize the lead. A headline should always be short, catchy, attractive, and appealing to your targeted audiences. But do not repeat the intro of a story as your headline, or else do not repeat the first paragraph of your story and you use it as the headline of your story. So come up with a headline that can be distinguished from the lead, or that can be distinguished from the intro of a story that you are talking about. Still, we are saying that headline should not be having double meaning. Whereby if you are coming up with any form of a headline, or any headline of a story, make sure that your headline is not confusing to your targeted audiences. Or ensure that your headline is not having confusing meaning. If you are talking about BBI, let your readers understand that your topic is about BBI. If you are talking about COVID-19, let your topic be understood as you are talking about, let's say, COVID-19. We are talking about insecurity in the society. We are talking about social work, or as unemployment rate in the society, or as any level of corruption in the community. Let your headline be specific and let it have a specific meaning that can be understood by your targeted audiences without any form of confusion. Still, we are saying that avoid prepositions or conjunctions. By this we mean that if you are formulating a headline or else coming up with a headline, ensure that you are not repeating yourself, you are not using preposition, or else we call them ambiguous words. These words are going to misuse your space for nothing. So avoid prepositions, reduce the level of conjunctions. Conjunctions are joining words. These words, they always utilize space in the newspapers, or else in magazines, or else even in the radio or television. So for you to be able to come up with an effective headline, ensure that you avoid words like prepositions, or else words like conjunction that can be avoided if you are coming up with an effective headline that you are going to disseminate to your targeted audiences. Still, avoid bad break, whereby you are breaking your headline in such a way that your audience is not able to understand what you are talking about. But if you are coming up with the headline, you should ensure that if you are breaking the headline, let it be understandable to your readers that indeed this is the place whereby I'm breaking this particular headline, so that your audience can be able to understand that indeed this is the same sentence, or this is the same line you are talking about. So we are saying that if you are coming up with a headline, you must always put these tips into consideration. Number one, we are talking about creativity. Always be creative enough, because we are saying that your headline will determine the readership of your story. And if you are having a poor headline that doesn't exercise creativity, you're going to find that very few people are going to read your story. Still, we are saying that let it summarize the whole story. Your headline should be able to summarize the whole of your story. Let it be catchy or attractive to your targeted audiences. Do not repeat the lead or the intro of a story if you are coming up with the headline. And still, we are saying that avoid the headline that have more than one meaning, or else headline that have double meaning. Still, we are saying that avoid the usage of prepositions or conjunctions in your headline. If you are coming up with the headline, avoid these unnecessary words that make your sentence to be ambiguous or else wastage of space in the newspaper. Then last but not least, we are saying that avoid bad break, whereby if you are breaking your headline, let it be understandable to your readers that this is the place you began, or else this is the same line or same sentence you are talking about. I hope you are able to understand and contextualize the tips you are supposed to apply if you are coming up with an effective headline for a new story. Let's meet next time at the same point, whereby you are going to talk about different types of headlines that you can use if you are disseminating or else writing a newspaper or a magazine news story. Thank you for your time. Let's meet next time.